And we are live, and it's Friday, and this is the Friday Grief Chat. Welcome. I'm Jill.
I'm Deb,
There
and
she
that's
is.
Oscar
Deb.
right
And
behind me.
here's
Oh, who's
Zorro.
that, Zora? Hello,
This is the Zorro
Zorro.
terrorist dog. Yes. Yes. It's been a week, has it not? I'm going to let you take it from there for a moment, Miss Deb.
Yes, I'm here still. I wonder if it's the weather. I don't know what's going on. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yes.
Can you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you. It's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. And last week, we are not sure what happened. And it looks like, so Jill is going to go off, do something, see if she can connect it to Humor, Grace, and Grief. Can it connect to my page?
I'm putting it everywhere I can. Stand by, Miss,
Do you
and
think it's
I will be
connected to
there.
mine?
Yeah, we'll be there. Just stand by.
Okay, we'll see what
Working on it.
happens. We are so sorry. But until then, a couple different things. Um, I don't mind saying that it was really hard for me last week to celebrate 4th of July. And I know we talked a little bit about it. I wore a little bit of a 4th of July get up because I still felt like I needed to make people smile in because that's how I work. And I don't try to make them smile, but I provide them with opportunities to either laugh with me or laugh at me. And by the end of the evening, I had taken my shirt, my 4th of July tie-dyed shirt, and it felt good to cut the sleeves off and the and make it a sleeveless shirt. And then I wore 4th of July gnome earrings. And I went shopping after our broadcast, etc. And there was a woman there who said, "You are adorable." And I said, "Thank you." And, she was smiling at my getup. And I told her how I hadn't felt very much like uh, being uh, patriotic. And she said, "Neither did I." But then the kids called and they said, "Mom, please make dinner." So there she was with tons of food in her shopping cart. And I said, "But you don't have to clean up, right? You make them clean up." And she felt so much better, just saying how she felt, honestly, why she was doing that. And so, one of the things with grief that really helps are distractions. And if you can literally hang on to a distraction about how you're feeling, it stops the cycle of feeling bad just for a moment. So, I treasure that. Sometimes I've had people over here and we make easy art, what I call, and they make something beautiful. And that distracts them, if only for a moment.
Yes, it
And
does.
even, yeah, yeah. And, you know, with my Red Nose project, I don't talk about it very much, but the whole premise was Mother Teresa says peace begins with a smile. And I said, I could do that. And then I say, making peace in the world, one that's a breath out, because you have to inhale after, a breath out.
Right?
So I make peace in the world one ha at a time. So,
That's what's wrong with Zorro. He doesn't know how to ha.
no hawing. Oh,
No
maybe you
ha
could
for
just
Zorro.
whisper in his ear. Is he
Yeah.
too?
Is he what?
Is he deaf?
No, he's got acute hearing, poor vision, and he misses his mom. And so we've got
Oh,
a mad grieving dog, and he
yes.
doesn't quite get to see his world clearly. So yeah, one haw at a time works, and I'm gonna have to work on hawing him somehow. Yeah.
All right. Um, I, that's interesting. You should talk about pets. We haven't talked about pets for a while. So,
Right?
how do you, yeah, what are some things we can do? One, yes, pets grieve. I had a veterinarian that said, no, they're not grieving. And they can't grieve. And I'm like, oh, yes, they
They
do.
do.
Elephants
Pets,
grieve. We've seen this in the wild. And cats grieve too.
we saw the whale who carrying a
And
dead
dogs.
baby.
So, what are some of the things you've done with
Yeah.
you
So
see
our dogs,
elephants
when we are
when
losing a
they come?
dog, mhm, we have a lag. Sorry, folks. When we
Yeah.
are losing one of our dogs, one of our oodles, the other ones tend to gather around them. If they die at home, we bring everyone in to say goodbye. When we are taking them out to take them to be cremated, everyone gets a chance to lick on them and see them, and they all do. We don't remove their toys, their anything else that they've touched. And what we find is that they need lots of snuggles. They need lots of cuddles. When the particularly most attached ones die, there's a longer process and they look for them longer. When there's one who's special needs, they tend to try to hunt for them to see if they've gotten lost. Like when Zoe died, because Zoe was frail and had limited mobility and limited vision. And so the others searched the yard for her for at least 3 or 4 days, especially at night before bed. So we give them lots of space to hold on and grieve. And when a human dies that they are attached to, my mom in particular, they were attached to, and Stacy's dad was Buddy's grandpa. We keep something from the human. We kept a shirt from. We literally took the jacket off Zorro's mom's back when she was handing him over because he needed something that smelled like mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so that jacket sits in
Yes.
our family room, and he ignores it now. But he
Mm-hmm.
needed it for the first 3-4 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, we pets do grieve,
You
and
know,
pets that live in human houses function at about a human toddler level. So think 2 to 3 years old. So death is kind of a,
mm-hmm.
okay, I get someone's missing. I don't know what happened to them experience. And that is
Right.
what we see. And that's what you see with yours too. And with
The
elephants, talk about elephants.
elephants are a beautiful community. Like when a baby elephant is born, all the other elephants come up and surround the mama elephant and the baby, and they pay they celebrate. And when a baby, at least what I remember, is when a baby or a elephant dies, they all come up and pay their respects.
Mm-hmm.
They circle around, and if it's a mate, they will stay there a long time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a whole lot. I remember not too long ago looking at videos of when, and I think that would be a great thing to explore also for loneliness, Jill.
I think so too, which is a topic Deb and I
Animals,
are working on right now. Yeah.
right?
Right.
Um, when when Runt died. Runt was one of our cats. Runtley, big Bubba of an orange tabby. And we used to call him Gumby Cat because we could bend him in any situation. And we could sleep on him for an hour. He wouldn't move.
Wow.
And have I talked about this before? I don't remember.
No. Uh-uh.
And then I had a doctor friend who could afford very good cologne. And when he would come over, he would pet Runt. And my daughter and I would wait till our friend left. And then we would grab Runt and go,
Oh, smell that.
mm. Well, Runt had a seizure and died right in Kate's arms. And that was really hard. And we had him cremated. And Chakra, the other cat that went with him, would moan, would meow around the house. You know,
Mhm.
where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Because they were like brothers. And we had Runt for 9-10 years before he had a seizure.
Mhm.
And even though the vet had distinctly said, no, that's not, then they're not grieving. And I'm like, I think they are. So when I got Runt back, I opened up the little wooden box. I didn't spread any ashes out there, but I let the ashes in the bag be in the wooden box. And I remember how poignant it was. Like I saw Shock sniff the ashes and then walk around like 2 times or 3 times. And I
Like they need to
closed,
settle.
yeah, I closed the box and put it in our dead people cabinet and dead cat cabinet.
Oh, we have one of
And
those. Uh-huh.
yeah, and there you go. And he stopped meowing. It was a great experiment to see, did I believe, was there any validation? And this was many years ago, right?
Right.
So yeah,
No, we're thinking about that when the political leader in Wisconsin was murdered along with her husband when they were assassinated a few weeks ago. The assassin also killed their lab.
Minnesota. Yeah,
Minnesota, sorry.
yeah.
Minnesota. And they shot the dog, and the dog had to eventually
Oh,
be let go because he couldn't survive the injuries. And
right.
when they did the laying in state in the Capitol, the dog was there too.
Yes.
And it was incredibly telling to see how many people, yes, they were devastated for the couple, but there was also that extra piece of, oh my gosh, the dog. And now the kids don't even have the dog to snuggle in their grief.
Yes.
Pets are an integral part of families that have pets. I've never been in a family that didn't have pets, so I don't quite understand those. But, they are an integral part of most families. Yeah.
We
Steve says the emotional connection between here we go. I'll put this up.
Yeah. Emotional, yes. And let's talk about the science of having a pet to pet. And that also means, even if they're fish, you obviously can't pet fish, but you're responsible for them, right? You still have to feed fish. I know a person that has tarantulas and lizards and what other people would say are creepy crawlies. And, when one tarantula dies, she's devastated. And here's the science that when you can, unconditionally pet a pet, and you can be responsible for its caretaking. Not all people. My mom was not a pet person. So what it does is it releases healthy hormones that make you feel good about yourself. And in turn, because you feel loved unconditionally. Am I still here, Jill? Let me know if you can see me or hear me or whatever. I'm just going to keep going. It says I'm live. That uh, it makes you feel good. It releases endorphins. It cuts your cortisol down. It's so important to have something that you can feel unconditional love from. So I'm going to write Jill. Can you hear me or did you lose me? Yeah, that's sort of, I'm not sure it's working. It says we're still live, and so I will keep acting like it's still live. Uh, and if not, sorry about that. I found this magazine called Grief Magazine. I had picked it up at our conference, and it says the crazies. It says, forget where you parked your car. At least you remembered you had one. So it's when people are grieving, whether it's a pet, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a job, it doesn't matter. And when that happens, you have brain fog. It's like you have to forgive yourself for brain fog. Because if you forget where you parked your car, the good news is you remembered you have your car. If you forgot where you had your keys, at least you have keys. It is real common to think about how you can't remember stuff when you're grieving. It's so important to allow yourself to say, I am grieving. I have a friend whose dad just died a little over a month ago, and she's really good at it. She says, I don't know if it's the grief or it's this. It could be many things. Can you hear me, Jill? Have you heard
I
me the
can
whole
now.
time?
My computer blew up for a moment there, and it made this horrible buzz sound, and the screen went black, and then stars happened, and I was grieving my laptop, but now we seem to be back for a little while. I
Oh,
apologize.
no, good. I found this grief magazine from,
Uh-huh.
like Jerry Cox, by the way. Thank you, Jerry Cox, because he clears out a lot of stuff from his house at every conference, and he just says free. And you take what you want. There's some really good books all the time. And
There
I and
are.
I took two magazines. One was Living with Loss, and the other one was Grief Magazine. One's from 2002, and one is from 2007. And there's another one called Grief Digest. And if you ever feel the need to, you want a magazine, you want an
Yes.
actual paper copy, or you can still go out there. I think Grief Digest is still being put out. I don't know about the other two, but yeah.
I like hard
Well,
copies. I like to feel them in my hand.
I like to read them. I do,
Uh-huh.
and same thing with books. I still like books. I think I told you in the listening audience I'm gonna be grieving my eyeballs pretty soon.
Yes, you
Uh,
are.
yeah, yeah. First it'll be my left eye, be cataracts, and then we'll see what other operations I need. And speaking of which, I know this is sort of a hodgepodge of stuff. I cannot stress enough that if you're having a hernia operation, if you're having a gallbladder taken out, if you're having a hysterectomy, if you're having heart surgery, if you're having a tumor, if you're having a knee replacement, if a hip replacement, whatever is being done to your body, where something is either being put in or taken out or repaired, there's a good chance that afterwards you actually will weirdly, you'll say, where is this coming from? It's coming, your body holds grief. Your body is affected by grief. Your body knows when something's gone or if you added something to it. Mm-hmm. And so I encourage every single person to write a letter to that body part and thanking it for being with you. If you're having a repair, such as a hernia or heart, thank you for serving me this long. And talking about the repair, I am glad I could repair you, a collective you of a body part or a muscle or something. Thank you. I appreciate you. And if you are getting something taken out, make sure you say thank you. If you're, whatever the case. Why? Because the body hears your words. Your body feels the words.
And your body's been put through some trauma.
And your body has been acknowledged the trauma for your body. Thank you, Jill.
It's something I do a lot of work in. And honestly, I have a whole bunch of clients who have had sudden cancels this week because they've become very sick, collapsed. One had a huge surgery yesterday, all that sort of thing. And your body is traumatized and you are traumatized, even though it's something you expect most of the time and you want done, it's still traumatizing, and you need to acknowledge that and grieve the change in your life and the fact that you're acknowledging something was seriously wrong enough that you had to have this done.
Exactly. The body feels the trauma. There is a whole science behind the body feels the trauma, such as I take somatic yoga, and it's about releasing through different affirmations and pressure points, different traumas that happen to the body. When I say trauma, you don't have to go to therapy for it. It's having your tonsils out, right? Having a tooth extracted, even baby teeth, right? Or when you get older, having a tooth implant, having I don't usually have to thank my toenails for growing, although I will tell you I am grateful for a little hair on my toes. Why? Because it means I still have circulation. Yes.
I hadn't thought about it that way. All righty.
So
thank the somatic work to thank for hairy toes.
Thank you for hairy toes. Wow.
Right?
Yeah. So while I'm joking, I'm serious.
Right.
And if you're getting your hair cut for the first time in a decade, or you give to Locks of Love. I have a friend, a male friend, that cuts his hair short, and then so many months later or a year later, he when it gets to a certain length, he cuts it and then he gives it away. And it's yeah. If you're saying goodbye to your hair, because of cancer and you want control to cut the hair out, then do that.
Right.
So say thank you. Yeah.
And take
Well,
care
are
of
we
you.
all okay with did it post?
We are live. I actually had to go to another one of my pages and transpose it over to this page. So I'm gonna have to, I think, do some work on where the landing page is for the chat so that it's
Yes.
more easily found, but it is here. And obviously
Okay.
folks are finding us. So I will do that again next week unless I manage to get this fixed next week. I do have a dear friend named Naljani who does has taken over the Hawaii Therapist Conference, and
Oh,
all
yeah.
of her stuff was done on Facebook, and Facebook locked her out with no warning for 4 days this week.
Oh,
And she went back live again at 4 o'clock this morning with no explanation, and you can't reach anyone. And then there's another person that I follow on YouTube who got blocked out of YouTube with no warning and no apparent reason. So
yeah.
it's happening in lots of places.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, when you do these kinds of podcasts, you have to make sure that you don't have things that can be considered to be belonging to someone else. So if you add music, it has to be music approved by the site. If you have pictures, they have to be pictures that you can prove have no attachment to the owner. I don't know what happened. I haven't seen any notices of that sort that are real, but
Yes.
I will be working with StreamYard a little bit more and see where we can get with that. So in the meantime,
Thank you.
When do we have a guest, Deb? I know you've been working on that.
I'm going to schedule for August.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to contact Andrew just through Facebook and say, "Hey, do you want to show up? Can you show up in July?" And
I would love to see him come and
I
talk
think,
about the end of life and grief work group, the international work group.
yeah,
Because most people don't know that exists, and it does exist.
It does. It does. So I will write him and say,
Okay.
please.
All
And he
righty.
can send us some stuff. That's my task for today and tomorrow. So as soon as I can schedule him.
I think the last week of July, we should focus on loneliness. So we want we want you to bring your loneliness to the table and send us some thoughts about how loneliness has impacted your life and what you've done with it.
Yes, please put that in the chats too. And
Yeah.
I will solicit information on my page also.
Excellent. All right, everyone.
All right.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Stay cool if you're in the hot places. Be comfy if you're in the better places. Bye, everybody.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.